real proud of this, but I've been drinking these them White Claws. I've talked a lot about them, but damn, they kind of are nice. By the time I drink 15 beers, I'm so burpy and farty, I might need a spit up. Not a full puke, but a little. I drink liquor the same way I drink beer, and that's fast. Then the only nerd around here having fun is me, and maybe a cop that gets a chance to kick my ass. He's got his taser out as soon as he shows up. Can't say I blame him. All he's heard is that there's a belligerent drunk 62 Sasquatch running around, and he is unpredictable at best. There ain't no brakes on this train. No claws, yeah, they taste about like you're making out with a cat that has a piece of fruit in its mouth. But I can put 12 of them down in a pretty reasonable amount of time. Take me a good piss, it's on to the next case. Biggest problem I see with them though is the price point. It's a little ridiculous to price a product that high in such economic times. It's arguably the hardest it has ever been out here for a pimp. And one damn case of claws costs you about $20. There ain't no way there's $20 worth of shit in that box.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, what's wrong here? There we go. Welcome back, everybody. It's the top of the month. I'm your host, Ramen Wukong, and that means it is time for your monthly Bitoreum exclusive updates. The white paper has been updated on all platforms. You can get a copy of it on our website, Bitoreum.cc, in the document section. You can download it directly from us in EPUB or PDF. You can get it from Apple Bookstore and Amazon. They have updated, so this is the new version. You're looking for version 1.1.1. If that isn't the version you have, come talk to me on our Discord server. I will help you there. This flushed out some things like the reward system, the owling system for payments and things like that. So the white paper has been flushed out a lot more with the missing data that I just didn't have before to give a clear and concise mission statement. I still need to work on the Smart Node setup guide. Some things have changed in there, including the release of Moonstone a couple weeks back that was announced last week. Fun times there. Bakery.sh got a massive update over the last few weeks, making it able to basically build nearly any Dash or Raptorium clone without much modification, unless your code was super old. But in short, you can now basically use Bakery.sh to make your own specific build to your specific setup. Moonstone has been used to overinstall 10 smart nodes and counting with very positive success rate. I'm still working on the refire, which would allow you to rebuild if there was an error kind of things, but more on that later. Unfortunately, no good news comes without its bad. CoinGecko has temporarily delisted us due to Exeggs, Trade Ogre, and Fine Xbox all going offline within the last couple of months. Basically, they require that there be an exchange online at all times. If you go more than, I think, 24 hours without an exchange API, they're like, dead coin, even though it's very much not. And that kind of leads to our next problem. Well, we are still listed on Exbitron. Still love you guys. There has been a maintenance issue for over the last week. That said, they will CoinGecko will relist us if we can get an exchange that they can talk to via the API. Currently, there are 2 exchanges that meet those requirements outside of Exbitron that are acceptable to us. There was a whole bunch of qualifications that I had put out a couple of weeks ago saying that, you know, it has to be US friendly, low to no KYC, that kind of thing. The only downside is the 2 that I found are about $3,000 for the initial listing price. That includes the initial listing and the initial trade pair. Comes to around $3,000 USD. And while I am open to donations, it's not going to be in the budget for the Nikovash Empire. We're halfway through the year. All the budgetary concerns were dealt with at the Q4 of 2024 to pay for 2025. We're in Q3 of 2025, so this will come up at the end of our year in Q4 of 2024. If you really want to help us out, shop on s-mart.cc. You can find that link generally in the bio of these videos. Anything that you buy over there definitely helps out this channel, but realistically we need to hit a $3,000 threshold in order to get listed on another exchange while we wait for Exbitron to come back up. Leading into that, Exbitron, as you know, has been down for most of the last week. Their issues seem to be fully realized, and they're just waiting to finalize the code base. There was a interesting bug. I'm not going to go into it. You can go over on their Discord and chat with them. They've been very upfront, and unlike most of the other exchanges like Trade Ogre, who just disappeared in the middle of the night, he has been very forthcoming with what's been going on. His wife did bitch at him, apparently, because he was focusing so much on this and not on the family stuff. So I suspect within another week or so, everything else should be back online and fully realized, hopefully. Back to the good news, we have surpassed 60 valid smart nodes and 0 ghost nodes on our network. It's been an uphill battle getting people back into supporting the network, and I'm glad the community is helping us rebuild. Thank you guys so very much. I would like to see 100 by the end of this year as more and more people come back online. On that note, there have been some issues saying that, well, we see that there's all of these unavailable nodes or whatever. Is there a way to hide them? Currently not yet. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. I have thought about that, but anyway, starting with the next major release of Bitoreum, we'll be dropping the Bitoreum.tx from all the binaries. This is a carryover from older code, and I do mean like Bitcoin.tx, I think was the first. The binary allowed you to interrogate transactions without actually having a full wallet loaded, which was kind of nice, but really outside of my use or other developers' uses, end users don't really use it, and it just kind of wasted space. So I will be dropping it both in my composition and bakery as well. If you are still compiling by hand, it'll still be there. I'm not removing it, I'm just no longer bundling it in the compiled binary. Also, starting with the next major release, we have solved the case of the missing macOS binaries. I know I'm pretty much the only one that uses macOS, but there have been a couple of people asking me about it. The reason we only ship the Qt is for some strange reason in the workflow, it was only building the Qt and nothing else. And that was the finalized Qt, not even like the standard binary Qt. I did solve what the problem was, and it really just goes towards my hatred of YAML in general. It was a couple of lines in YAML that was preventing it from being moved into the archive, basically. Yeah, we are... and one more thing, we are looking at targeting a new base refactor from C++ 14 to C++ 17. This will still allow us to build on a boot to 18.04, but would allow for more compatibility with newer dependencies and the potential to start moving away from the boost system, which, as many of you have seen from the the Discord channel, I'm not really a fan of. It it causes a lot of problems, primarily with Windows building and, more importantly, Mac OS building, particularly Mac OS for ARM, because they didn't really start supporting ARM till very late in the game. So in order to do Mac OS native ARM building without a whole lot of patchwork, you really need to update Boost. Well, the problem with updating Boost, then we need to refactor the code anyway, because the newer Boost don't really support some of the older functionality, or if they do, it's by newer calls to the command. So I think moving away is sorry, excuse me. Moving away from the Boost system is just a better call overall. And in order to do that, need to support a newer C++ base. It's a new month, so the Get Down with Bitoreum promotion is live. 2 million Bitoreum is up for grabs this month. I may add more later, depending on if you guys actually go out there and get social media-ing. There are some people that still have yet to claim their reward. Ondolf has decided to donate his reward to another reward that I will be announcing in 2 weeks. I still need to hear back from the participants of who's going to be hosting that contest, but that's going to be fun. It's a mining contest is what I'm looking forward to, so he's going to roll his winnings from last month over into that promotion. Thank you so very much. If you are still the other 2 people out there who haven't claimed your rewards, right? In general, I just wanted to kind of show you of what's been going on with the website here, and then we will move over to the Q&A. I don't suspect many Q&A is going to go on this week. Most of the questions I've got have already been answered in this month's announcements. For those of you who did ask, the reason I don't use mining pool stats is because they have not really updated their information on their site. So what I've done is on our site, we have the network, we have the exchanges, which currently right now the only one we have is Exbitron, and they are in maintenance mode. These are the official mining pools that support us. There may be a fifth one joining us. I do have to do a little bit more digging into that one. Software, right? So if you click over the software, this used to be just to download the wallet directly. Now you can still do that, but that takes you over here. That's where the current, it'll always point to the most current release. Bake and Moonstone, our other compendium apps, are also there. Same thing. Click on it. Takes you over to the Bake repository. I don't create these as releases. These are just straight Git pulls, basically. And then Moonstone as well, the other thing that got a bigger update and a kind of little fun utility as well. Okay, let's move over here. The official white paper, as we saw, and unfortunately, Exbitron is still under maintenance. You can always follow along with what we're doing over here, the development branch. I may actually be dropping the main and just renaming the main repository to dev. This is kind of a backward-ass approach that was a carryover from the original Bitoreum. I just kind of adopted what Marius was doing, but we're a new project. We don't have to do things the same old way. Okay, I think that about wraps it up for us this week. Let us switch back over to here. Oh, yes, and somebody did ask about the press releases. I'm using Medium as a way to release documents. So we have the Crystal Bitoreum. This was what was needed for CoinGecko to make the announcements, ironically, and then they dropped us. We will have monthly recaps. We will then have quarterly recaps. I really wish they would stop with the fucking pop-ups. I really hate that about this site, but it is what it is. So this was for the month of September, which really is going over what happened in August. We will be doing quarterly updates this way as well. And little things like the how to use Oracle, I think will be better suited here because a lot of those articles that were hosted on older Medium articles are very outdated. So this will be where we're going over. This is the whole, basically what I've gone over this month. And as a reminder, we have adopted a new video format where the first Monday of the month, the first Sunday of the month, we go over the monthly updates. Second Sunday of the month, we're always off, so there is no announcements next week unless something critical happens. Third is more cryptocurrency news as a whole. I might go into a little bit further on Exbitron and my quest for too many tabs open. A new exchange. I might go into more detail on that in 2 weeks from now, and as well as hopefully the announcement of the new promotion, which is going to be a mining promotion. What I would like to have happen, well, there's a couple of mining pools that have expressed possible interest in what would happen is if you mine and say every 20th or every 50th block that's mined on their site, the person who hits that block gets an extra, I don't know, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 Bitoreum, whatever the price pool is. I haven't really flushed that part out. There has to be some code basing. PMP Mining already has a system in place. They've done these kind of promotions with Yerbus. That's where I actually got the idea. Zpool has expressed interest in doing that as well. So it's a fun way to try to bring back mining back into the realm. But anyway, that's going to be on the broader scope of 2 weeks broadcast. And then if there's a fifth week, the week after that will be an off week. But if it's a fourth week, it'll be the monthly announcements. All right, that does it for here. I'm going to pop over to the Q&A screen, although I don't suspect there's many Q&As here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on YouTube. Let me pop over to Discord real quick, see if there's anything over there. Yeah, I know this video was way earlier than anticipated. I got kind of bum rushed with client requests wanting to come in at 1, and staying till like 5, so that pretty much destroys my ability to do this broadcast at 2. Yep, I'm not really seeing any questions here. I'm going to kind of briefly just glance over the questions. Okay, yeah. So here was a question that basically went over if you're looking at the app, the core wallet from the GUI's perspective, and then pop over to the Smart Nodes tab. If you're looking in there, you will see every smart node that's registered. So you'll see the enabled, the pause band, and the unknown. The question was there a way to remove the unknown? And the answer to that question is yes, actually, there could be, but that is going to take some major code development, both in the core wallet and the Explorer. Although from the Explorer's perspective, I'm not really sure whether or not I want to remove it, and I haven't really thought about it that much. But I could see it from the user's perspective saying that, oh, okay, well, it's just annoying. And it is. And the reason I can't really get rid of them right now is the original code just takes all smart nodes that had been validly registered at one point in time and says, here you are. So even if you haven't been validly registered, which means generally for unknown, that means your collateral isn't right. You know, we went through that collateral update a couple weeks back. It's now 2 million Bitoreum. A lot of people were still operating at the 1.8 million, and many were still operating at lesser values than that, just have never updated. So the downside is all of those nodes get listed. Right? It's just a visual thing. It doesn't actually hurt the code. The updating that we did to make the code scale, it only counts enabled nodes. So it does not count pause band nodes, and it does not count unavailable or unknown statuses. So for our LLMQ scaling, you have to be enabled to count. If you don't count, you don't get a say in the governance. Basically, that's how that works. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked me, do I have to use 4.1.0.0? Can I still use 4.0.1.1? No. Basically, the 4.1.0.0 was the introduction of the new collateral, the 2 million Bitoreum collateral. So your old wallet will stall at whatever block height that is. I don't remember off the top of my head what that block height was. It's in the white paper, but I don't have the white paper up in front of me and looking at it right now. But basically, at that point, your wallet will stall and start giving you all kinds of bad header and just bad code, and your wallet's going to look like we're on a corrupted chain, and we're not. You just need to update to 4.1.0.0. And on that note, somebody did ask, will the next update be a mandatory one? Probably. It depends on if it's a major update or not. You know, like I said, I have been looking at moving to a 4.17.x at point X, and if that is the case, yes, that would be a major update. If the next update is 4.1.0.x, then no, it probably won't be mandatory. It'll be something small fixing. It might be the visual bug, although I doubt it because refactoring to C++ 17 is going to take a big overhaul. Definitely more than 2 Sundays for those of you listening who get that reference. But yeah, those were kind of the questions that happened. Oh, right, and the other one, why don't I respond nearly as often? I do medical transport now. This is the off season from insurance, and although that's going to be picking up here in another couple of months, I now do medical transport as well, mostly to keep me occupied. I get bored, and to ensure that money flow keeps happening. I lost about 1,000 business clients, so that was a pretty huge chunk to my monthly earnings, and that's the kind of thing that pays for all this ancillary stuff. If I hadn't lost that client base, I probably would have bit the bullet and just launched on that other exchange when Exbitron not went down, just went offline for maintenance. I probably would have used that as justification to just being like, oh, okay, let's do this. But the loss of clientele represents about a $3,000 a month loss to my company. So we have money to pay the bills, to pay the insurance, to pay the utilities, pay myself, but that's about it. In order to do more fun stuff. I mean, I do make some profit, but that profit has to go into like maintenance on my office, maintenance on equipment, things like that. So unfortunately, it doesn't have the budget for a $3,000 shortfall. So if you have a company in Oregon, Washington, Michigan, or Tennessee, tell your boss to get at me. I would love new group health clients. Help the project out. But in general, shop at s-mart.cc. In the description of this video, every purchase you make there definitely helps out the project. All right, folks, I will see you in 2 weeks when we come back and make the larger announcements for the crypto industry as a whole. Remember, next week there will be no announcements. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.